We bring on the mock drafts as it is actually draft week, people.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is JD Young. Today's episode of Locked On Sharks is brought to you by Udo. Great organizations win because operations matter, and that's why you should get Udo. Try for free today at udo.com/lockedon. That's odoo.com/lockedon. And on today's episode, we are going to be digging into mock drafts because it is that time, right? So the draft is on Friday. So I have scoured the internet looking for the brightest minds out there when it comes to draft coverage, and also Tony Ferrari as well. So we're poor Tony. I hope somebody tells him about that. Anyway, we are going to be looking at some of the best, some of the mock drafts that some of the public scouts have, looking at who's available for the Shark, or who kind of what direction the Sharks go at number 2, and who could be potentially available for the Sharks at number 27, especially now after the Sharks moving down from 20 to 27 with the Michael Kesselring edition. So we're going to start with our good friend Steven Ellis, friend of the show, and look at his latest mock draft, which released Monday morning. So Steven Ellis has the Sharks going at number 2. He has them going Chase Reid, and kind of the same that he's right. Sharks absolutely need a defender, and I still think this is what they do. Even if he prefers Stenberg, Reid is the best available thanks to his outstanding puck skills, competitive nature. You can argue the OHL isn't as strong as it once was because the older competition jumped to the NCAA early. But with all the translatable skills, primarily decision-making under pressure, outstanding mobility, and high-end vision, he's definitely the closest to becoming a number 1 defenseman out of anyone. And the Sharks don't see themselves in the Landy DuPont hunt, as they shouldn't. If we're having the Landy DuPont discussion this time next year, please, somebody might have to old yeller me. So, but this is a chance for them to address their blue line. He does have Stenberg going number 3 to the Vancouver Canucks, with Carson Carrolls and then Caleb Malhotra rounding out the top 5 there. So, really fun. He does have the Senators picking Wyatt Cullen at number 9. Just fun there, with Verhoff running at number 10. So scrolling on down to number 27, the Sharks picking the right-handed defenseman Adam Goljer, who we've talked about on this podcast before. I wonder if the Sharks double down here and take another defender here. And honestly, it's a better fit than reaching for someone at number 20. I've been a Goljer fan for a few years now, and it feels like his U18 World Championship performance has helped his stock. He's raw, but that's fine because there's a solid upside. At 6'3", he has size, but also plays with a ton of confidence, allowing him to consistently attack and defend strongly against older competition in the top Slovak league. Playing close to 20 minutes a night against men is no small feat for a 17-year-old, no matter the league. I like to see him come to North America, but overall, I think there's a lot to like about his game, and I'd take the chance here if he was the Sharks. So very much makes a ton of sense there, right, with going defensive defenseman, right, and especially with where the Sharks are at with all their forward prospects. We have a lot of guys who are about ready to kind of graduate here to be NHL players and such. The right-handed defense we've talked about ad nauseum, kind of doubling up there with 2 different style players, right? Reid, who's more of the puck moving, again, not to say that Reid can't play defense, but more of the puck moving transition offensive. And Goljer, he's more of the stay-at-home rangy defenseman that we know Mike Grier definitely covets, and you've seen that with the picks that he's made, right? Leo Salin-Balanius, Haoshi Vong, players like that, who kind of fits that, even trading for Shakir Mukhamadullin, fits that definite mold of what Mike Grier likes on his blue line here. So let's switch over to our friend Tony Ferrari. So this one was done before the Sharks. So his latest one was done June 15th. Of course, that was before the Sharks traded for Kesselring. So we'll look at who he had at number 20, and then we'll look at who he had at number 27 here. So, but he also has the Sharks picking Chase Reid, the defenseman. Sharks should realistically be looking to trade back a couple of spots, and he's been on this very podcast discussing that same argument. But if they do stick it to him, there are a number of ways they could go. They take the best player available in Ivar Stenberg and look elsewhere for help on the back end, or they opt for one of a handful of defensemen. Here we predict they take Chase Reid from the Greyhounds. Defender has skyrocketed up boards in the second half of the season. He's one of the draft's best movers in transition in the offensive zone, and Reid's an excellent passer who understands how to get the puck into dangerous areas. So he does have Stenberg going number 3. He has Albert Smits. We know Tony Ferrari, big Albert Smits guy, going number 4, and then Malhotra going number 5. Carroll's Veerhoff, Malte Gustafsson. He loves him some Malte Gustafsson as well. So looking at numbers, so originally he had number 20 as Mathis Preston going to the Sharks there, considered one of the draft's top forwards early in the year. He fell because of some injuries and some other stuff, but high octane forward who provide a little bit difference maker at the U18s. Sharks could add a defender early and add a top offensive talent a little later. That was his thinking with that one. At number 27, he has the Sabres, who are now the Sharks, taking Nikita Klepov. An impressive OHL rookie season, Klepov has put himself firmly in the first-round conversation. He's a very smart playmaker who tactically picks apart opposing defenses. When he is fully engaged in the play, he's a real catalyst for making things happen offensively. His game has flaws, but he's grown quite a bit this season and could have plenty of runway, not turning at 18 until the second day of the draft for Klepov. So a couple people on the board there. He has right after there William Hackinson, Marcus Nordmark, Ila Morzov, Jack Hextall, and Casey Mutrin as the picks left over in the first round there. So, I still think, we're going to a lot of the other mock draft spoiler have the Sharks taking Stenberg, but wanted to kind of pair the defense, the Chase Reid picks here together and kind of just look at how, right, Sharks drafting Chase Reid number 2. You had Ellis who went and got another defenseman at 27, who feels like a very high floor, maybe not as high of a ceiling, but high floor type of pick. And then Tony Ferrari, who went forward for the Sharks there, in both cases right at 20, and then it worked out at 27, where I think especially if you walked away with, in Ferrari's case, right, if you walked away with a guy like Reid, and then you turn around and then you get Klepov at number 26 or 27, I think you're feeling really happy about the first round of your draft, right? And I think Klepov would be a really nice fit for them if he's potentially there. And I've seen him go a little bit higher in mock drafts, but again, we're just kind of taking the information that we have here and trying to kind of piece it together to see who could be potentially there. So, but yeah, I think starting out like that those are the Chase Reid at number 2. So we're going to look at what happens if the Sharks pick Stenberg at number 2 with some of these other mock drafts here. We'll have 2 friends of the show, Scouch and Grav. We'll look at their mock drafts and see what San Jose does with their picks here in just 1 second. Workplace chaos can show up fast. That's where Indeed sponsored jobs come in. Indeed sponsored jobs help you reach candidates who actually fit what you're looking for based on skills, experience, and location. Finding the right person can make all the difference, whether it's building a business or building a winning team. Some of the best moves organizations make aren't always the splashiest ones. Sometimes it's finding the right person who fits exactly what the team needs at the right moment. That's what stands out to me, and that's what the same idea behind Indeed sponsored jobs. Helping connect organizations with candidates who are the right fit from the start. So spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who actually check all your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. and listeners of the show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire. This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. And ED is a much more common than guys think, and millions of men deal with it at some point. HIMSS offers a simple, convenient way to take care of your health by connecting you with licensed healthcare providers online and giving you access to personalized treatment options from the comfort of your own home. No awkward appointments, no pharmacy lines, just a straightforward process designed to make getting care easier. Taking care of yourself shouldn't feel complicated, and HIMSS makes that process private and easy to navigate. It's healthcare built around your schedule and your comfort. When someone's already feeling uncomfortable to talk about, the last thing you want is just a super complicated process. Having the ability to start online from home makes taking that first step feel much more manageable. To get simple online access to personalized, affordable care for ED, hair loss, weight loss, and more, visit hims.com/lockedonnhl. That's hims.com/lockedonnhl. For your free online visit, hims.com/lockedonnhl. Prescription required. See website for details and important safety information. Sildenafil is a generic version of Viagra. Viagra is a registered trademark of Beatrice Specialty LLC. HIMSS is not affiliated with or endorsed by Beatrice. All right, of course, want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Get your daily Sharks fix completely ad-free by joining the Everydayer Club today. Start your 7-day free trial right now. Get closer to your team without the interruptions. Click the link in the show notes or head over to lockedonsharks.supercast to claim your free trial. All right, let's switch over to some of our favorite internet heroes, and Will Scouch and Nathan Gravitek, who both have been on the show pretty recently. We're going to start with our good friend Will Scouch and look at what he has the Sharks doing as well. So he has number one, of course, Gav McKenna to the Leafs. Number two, so he does a gut pick and his personal pick. So what he's thinking versus what he would do in that situation. Both of them are Ivar Stenberg. He writes, there may not be a pick in the top range talked about as widely as the San Jose Sharks this year. After a surprise leap into this 2 slot, the Sharks have been given a gift. Go get a number of different directions. It seems that the fan base is borderline obsessed with the idea of taking a defenseman to fill current NHL roster gaps. I look at the team's forward group, their overall prospect pipeline, and the names available. I still believe that there's room to improve up front. Considering the high-end skilled forwards they've added, an excellent complementary two-way winger in Ivar Stenberg would arguably be just as good as an addition as a defenseman. You can already hear the screaming, so I'll put it this way. I've seen a ton of hockey this year. While the defensive crop is stronger than usually, I also believe that names talked about at the position as candidates this pick are somewhat overrated for the slot, and the defenders available later on are not necessarily a huge step back. Chase Reid, he goes on to compare to Sam Dickinson. Feels like they're pretty similar players. Stenberg drops in. He can play a variety of roles, complements the players they drafted very well. I don't think many names not in the NHL are sure bets for major roles either. So aiming to fill perceived gaps in the pipeline also just doesn't add up to me because they go straight for a defenseman. Sure, that'd be fine. For me, it's Stenberg. It just feels like the right fit for the situation the team is in. The defensive gap should be filled in alternative fashion. So number 3 is gut pick Carson Carroll's personal pick Tynan Lawrence. That's very high on Lawrence. Number 4, he has gut pick Chase Reid, and then personal pick Albert Smits. 5, Caleb Malhotra, Chase Reid, et cetera, et cetera. Scrolling down to the Sharks pick at 27. He has them going with Adam Goljer, who our good friend Steven Ellis just picked. So, and that was both his gut pick and his personal pick there for the Sharks. So, honestly, I think Goljer would be an awesome add here in any case. A big, young, rangy, right-handed defender. Checks a lot of boxes that Sharks fans have been screaming about. We're not always screaming, Will. Seriously. And for a defenseman who can actually defend and project as a strong player in that area, Goljer shows a lot of promising signs while he's still learning on the puck management side of the equation. Goljer played a ton in his own end, got plenty of practice defending, and showcased some really impressive tools that can be difficult for kids his age. At least defensively, I don't think he's too much of a downgrade over all the guys people are looking at 25 picks before this one. So interesting there with the Goljer, right? Again, very much a defensive defenseman who can cover a lot of ground and stuff like that. You do want, and like every draft is his own thing, but you do wonder, and this is maybe just me kind of thinking over loud, right? You kind of just drafted a lot of the same guy in Haushivang, but do they maybe go for something a little bit different here, or do you just kind of keep taking swings and see if one of them pops for you? And that could be very much in the kind of the case for you as well there. So yes, interesting. Good. Our good friend Will Scouch. So next, so Gravite, who released his final mock draft on YouTube today. He went with Stenberg at number 2. And then at number 27, he has the Sharks picking Ryder Cali. And Ryder Cali is not someone we've talked about on this podcast here. So I thought we would kind of do that now and look at him. So Cali, 6'1.5", 219-pound left-handed center, shades of from elite prospects. William Carrier and Barclay Goodrow, old friend Barclay Goodrow, B-rated grade for him. His kind of elevator pitch, fast and heavy checker who closes gap quickly, powers through traffic and keeps the cycle going. A clear NHL bottom 6 projection with the playmaking flashes for more. His badges: Freight Train, Hammer, and Fearless. So, right, go in there, cause chaos type of player. 5.5 for skating, 5 for handling, 5 for shooting, 5 for sense, 5.5 for passing, and a 6.5 for physical. Looking at his prospect profile, in the early season game against Sudbury Wolves, Ryder Cali attacked through the neutral zone with 2 defenders ahead and the 2 closing on his heels. One teammate was on his wing, but too far behind the play for a pass. There's only one option: a dump in. Instead of strictly placing the puck deep in the zone, Cali cleverly fired the puck hard against the back wall for a bounce right back into the slot. A self pass for a scoring chance. The only problem was the 2 defenders standing in his way. You're 6'5" and a half, 1.5, 219 pounds. You have your mind made up. Junior opponents may as well not exist. Cali shoved both defenders out of the way in a single move, and one time the rebound puck, surprising the goalie to score. This one play encapsulated Cali's strengths and play style. A man amongst boys, capable of clever tricks, Cali continuously showed NHL upside this season, going hard into battles, winning most of them, proactively making contact with opponents to create space, protecting the puck. He passed pucks off the wall to teammates and create in space, creating fast breakouts and scoring chances from the slot. He also displayed above-average playmaking this season. So playing at center, every play was highly projectable for the NHL. And power forward, ready for each play, kind of play each play beautifully. He's first on loose pucks, lifted 6, anticipating breakouts and intercepting and written passes. What makes him so special is his ability to quickly follow these smart retrievals with a pass. His board to middle playmaking was probably the most impressive part of his game. So didn't score like a top 40 prospect, but the offensive skills are definitely there for a guy like Ryder Cali. And again, when you're the Sharks and you have so many kind of high-end players, a guy like Ryder Cali, who you know is going to be a really solid bottom 6 type of player, and also plays, I think, bigger than his size, would make a ton of sense for you there. So you do, with his draft, you do still leave, at least the first round with potential questions on the blue line as to what the Sharks' kind of long-term plan is there. But he did say, like, in his video, that he feels like the Sharks probably end up trading the pick here to try to go find some defensive help now. But if they don't, that definitely does feel like Ryder Cali feels like a Mike Grier type of player as well. So we're going to finish up here by looking at, of Corey Pronman's draft, and then Hannah Stuart from Bleacher Report. So we'll get to those in just 1 second. Running a business shouldn't feel like you're trying to connect a bunch of systems that were never designed to work together. One app for accounting, another for inventory, another for sales, and somehow none of them talk to each other. That's where Odoo comes in. Odoo is an all-in-one business management software that brings every part of your business together in one powerful platform. From sales and accounting to inventory and marketing, everything works in one place, helping your team move faster, stay organized, and focus on growing the business instead of managing software. Best organizations know this success isn't just about talent, but having people working towards the same goal. It's true in sports like it is in business. One thing that really stands out about the Sharks organization, right, is you got everyone kind of pulling in the same direction. Think about last year, picking Joshua Ravensburg in at 30. Sharks fans like, what are we doing here? Mike Grier, he's got a vision. Joshua Ravensburg looked like a really great pick for the San Jose Sharks. So great organizations win because operations matter. That's why you should get Odoo. Try for free today at odoo.com/locked on. That's odoo.com/locked on. All right, Duke Horseman, thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. If you haven't checked out the Locked On NHL Prospect Show, now's the perfect time. If you want to cram before Friday and Saturday's draft, they've got you covered because they talk about prospects all year round. So make sure you go check them out when you're done with this episode over wherever you're listening to this podcast, or you can watch on YouTube as well. All right, let's finish up here. We're going to look at Corey Pronman of The Athletic. So he did a full 7-round mock draft. Good for you, sir. But he has the Sharks at number 2, taking Ivar Stenberg. I know he's kind of flip-flopped here, but I think the Sharks like both Chase Reid and Ivar Stenberg a lot, and they have interest in some other defensemen. I don't know which way they're going to go, as Mike Grier has done a great job keeping information closed off in recent years. A majority of my league sources think it's Stenberg over Reid, but I've been convinced through the process that if the evaluation is close, San Jose will take the defenseman. So interesting there that maybe we're seeing a little bit of a shift here with the picks and stuff, but we know Mike Grier is very much in the smoke screens. We're not going to tell anybody what we're doing here. We're going to just look to last year, right? Other than, the Celebrini pick, which was the world's easiest pick. It's been pretty quiet on what the Sharks are going to do. And it's always kind of been like that for Grier and such. So at number 27, so really quick, I just like to see. So at 20, he had the Sabres taking Gleb Pugachev, so right winger, who's like an interesting 6'3" big boy right winger over there. So power forward type of player. 27, he has the Sharks going extremely big here. And Brooks Rogowski, he's 6'7", 235-pound center playing with Oshawa. So the Sharks have gotten eyes on him this year because of or how Shivang was playing with the Oshawa Generals before he got traded. So just like before, we'll kind of do the little Brooks Rogowski thing here. So like I said, 6'7", 235 pounds, shades of Brock Nelson, Michael McCarron. His birth date isn't until the end of the month here as well. A grade from them: toolsy, motor, versatility, skating 5.5, handling 5, shooting 5, hockey sense 5.5, passing 5, physicality 6.5. With speed, work rate, and size, he's an archetypical. He's a fourth-line center, but building off his playmaking flashes and skill can make him so much more. He had 42 points this year in 46 games playing with the Generals. So 6'7" forward with NHL projectable skating. He possesses one of the most unique profiles in the draft. This combination was enough to attract flocks of NHL scouts to games, but it's the additional layers to his projection that makes an enticing developmental project. The Astros struggled to orchestrate passing plays and score this season, finishing with the lowest goal totals in the OHL. But Rogowski helped elevate their dragging offense. Despite his size, he has the right proportions of flexibility to assume deep skating stance posture, maintain a tight grip on his puck, and carries pucks across the offensive line at a high rate. Absorbing contact, I would hope so. You're 6'7". Shielding possession with his stature and avoiding poke checks. He turns the corner on defenders, gains space, and relays passes to teammates. Mostly seeing baseline OHL plays from him and not NHL ones. We saw Rogowski as a future checker in the first half of the season, projecting that he could use his range and skating as a defensive role at the NHL level, breaking plays and forechecking on for offense as he developed the harder contact game to go along with the wingspan. But as the season wore on, he broke out the checker mold, displaying higher levels of playmaking ability, offensive instinct that we had previously expected. They go on to say skills don't fully interact at the moment, showing more in individual flashes. We believe that could become a top 9 complementary power playmaker. Fully developed, he could become the glue that holds storylines together, helping their transition play with his retrieval and puck carrying skills, feeding passes from the wall, and complementing their cycle play. He's also served as an insulator, disrupting the opponent's attack with his range and skating ability. So very much again, you're looking at kind of where the Sharks are at with their prospect build and stuff like that, like where he would definitely fit in. And you're trying to kind of find some flashes and some pieces along the bottom 6 here. So we're going to finish up with Hannah Stuart over at Bleacher Report. So she also has the Sharks going Stenberg at number 2. On the off chance the Sharks don't go Stenberg don't go defenseman at number 2, one has to assume they snag Ivar Stenberg. He's the best available behind Gavin McKenna, and he probably a better fit for some teams than McKenna, and perhaps more importantly, he'd be an incredible addition to the rest of the Sharks' young crew they're building. It's likely Stenberg, a winger from Ferlanda, that jumps into the NHL as soon as next season. If he does, he would look pretty excellent on Macklin Celebrene's wing. He has possessing abilities to keep up with Celebrene's cerebral approach to the game, for one thing, and there's every chance that it allows them to make magic. There's always questions about draft eligible prospects, and Stenberg game prompts fewer questions than most other players available this year. He's a no-quit motor necessary for a young team that wants to compete soon, and pairs with an elite hockey sense and skating, some really fantastic stick work. His game isn't just offense. He's just got a bunch of skill in his own end. The Sharks may trade this pick or look to bolster the blue line, but if they don't, there's really no choice other than Stenberg here. So very high on Stenberg. So just for fun, Malhotra at 3, Reid at 4 to the Blackhawks, Carson Carroll's at number 5. Just for fun, the Sens picking Albert Smits. Okay, I could see that. Smits feels like a Sens type of player. Just a side note, I think the Sens trade that pick to try to go get immediate help right now. And so back to number 20, what the original Sharks pick would have been Maddox Dahane, from the Q. Motor for days after he just kind of like flipped the switch, and motor for days now for him. At number 27, JP Hurlbert, the center from Kamloops in the WHL. So yesterday, this pick and defenseman Michael Kessler were both Buffalo Sabres. Today, they're San Jose Sharks, or the pick will eventually be a San Jose Shark. Kamloops Blazers center JP Hurlbert is another player ranks in this strange no man's land of late first round, early second round picks. Anything in the zone would probably make sense for him, so why not the Sharks specifically pick him? Herbert's separating factor is his shot, or rather his arsenal of shots, because you name one, and he's got it in particular with accuracy, and he sinks them. He finishes WHL regular season with 97 points in 68 games and added 3 more points in 4 playoff games. He's smart, great vision. You can use that vision as well. Fortunately, Hurlbert is a player from whom the numbers don't always tell the story. Many of the ways he creates offense won't translate in the NHL level. If he broadens his creation style to encompass more situations, just say waiting for a stretch pass from a teammate or similar, we'll see those points add up in the pros. Physicality employs under pressure improving will also go a long way towards reassuring that his game will translate to the NHL level. So 6 mock drafts we have here that we did. 4 of them went Stenberg, 2 went Reid. And again, like, I'm on Team Reid, but if the Sharks pick Stenberg, I'm going to be super happy too. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to come on this and pout if the Sharks pick Stenberg. Like, it's a very easy path to pick Stenberg and what he would bring to the San Jose Sharks. But I do think it's interesting that we're seeing a little bit of a shift from the Reid, where it was a lot of Reid, to more Stenberg picks right now. So we'll see, as you never know with Mike Grier, and the smoke screens continue to come out of San Jose. But we'll be back tomorrow as Grier has his pre-draft availability. So we'll react to that. So make sure to follow along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and on TikTok at Locked On Sharks. Follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at My Fry Hole. Until tomorrow. Bye, friends.